Bobby invited me. I guess he's
Well,
going.
I'm joined too because Bobby invited me. But I know it got the title is "Do Your Vote Really Count?"
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I know do intend on doing a follow up. It's kind of like a follow up of what we got. Oh, have we started already, Bob?
Yeah.
Peace in the hood, on its way. It's a new day. It's a new day. Peace in the hood, it's here to stay. We gotta stop this violence. We gotta keep this peace. We gotta come together and do what's right, y'all. I put in work. I had no shame. At the time, it was part of the game. Now I see opportunity for you and me.
That song be riding.
So
good morning,
yeah, hello, good morning, good
baby.
evening, and all that. So we're here on a different, very special. It's a new day because it really strictly is every day, especially when you watch the news.
Oh gosh,
yeah. So I was going to say today is October the 3rd, and we're here to set off this first series of "Do Your Vote Really Counts?" Get ready for November the 3rd. So we want to get to communicating with one another, and everybody got people. We all got people that's for voting and against voting, and people say our vote don't count. Some people say our vote do count, and some people have different reasons why they do and don't vote. So today we're gonna have this discussion with a few people that's here for right now, and then we also go play a few videos for y'all to see and check into. So here we go, y'all. So we wanna start off with the video first.
Yes.
All right, let's start with OG. Well, I tell you, I'm gonna start off with the youth first. Then we're gonna let OG go after them.
All right.
How you want to change things, how you're supposed to go about it, getting into the more political side, educating people. You know, of course everybody wants change for the right reasons, of course, but I think it's more important to educate people on how to actually get there. You know, because that's where the change is going to be coming from, especially when you're talking about voting. Lots of people don't really know how to vote and how what they're voting on, and educating them on what to vote on. And of course, voting is an effective way to get what you want, especially like preaching like, oh, like go vote, especially to the younger people. But it's kind of like, what are we voting for? How do we vote? Putting people in office. You know, I think you're gonna have to do your homework in order to educate people, you know, because doing your homework on a political standpoint it's excessive. It's a lot. That's why people don't get into it, because it's so much, you know. So I think that for the leaders who are supposed to be, you know, doing the peace rights, or any organization that wants to help, you know, just for human rights, they need to do their homework. The leaders need to do their homework so that they can help people that don't know how to do their homework on the situation, you know. I feel like the leaders are the ones that have the connections in order to help people understand, and I think that's what makes you leaders, for you to help people understand, to put it into perspective, like, okay, this is what this person does, you know, this is what this person represents, and this is how it'll help these issues, you know. So I think that would be more effective into movement and being able to move and being productive on what you are preaching.
All right, that's that one. Now we're gonna get this one. I don't know why this blocking like that, but we're gonna present Mr. OG Man with a few questions about, does your vote really count? And so we're gonna start off right now. Well, I'm gonna ask him that question. Do your vote really count?
Okay. Well, I want you jump right on into it, Bobby, but so I'm gonna get back to what we just talked about.
Okay.
After me that question, means that it's some confusion going on.
Okay.
You wouldn't have to ask a question like that if you knew the answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that right there tell you we got some confusion about do your vote really count? And
that's true.
That's the first thing I wanted to say. We're talking about voter suppression. I mean, somebody mentioned something not too long ago. They said if your vote didn't really count, why they keep trying to suppress it? Okay, so the question is, why are they suppressing your vote by you having to even ask that question? I want to point out one thing. Last election, or when Trump ran for office, 7,700, just say almost 800,000 black people didn't even vote. Okay.
Okay.
And there's a reason why that. You know, I mean, you walk around, and I asked you this question not too long ago. You know, you voted for the first time. How old were you? You know what I mean? I mean, you almost let 20 years go through your life before people even vote.
That's true. Yeah, like Snoop Dogg voting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I can say like Snoop Dogg voting for the first time. I think he about 50.
Yeah, he about 50 years old.
So by the time you vote, your life damn near halfway over.
Yeah.
So think about that, very important. So, and we know in 2030, the vote is gonna be over with. You're not gonna even have the right to vote.
Yeah.
You're not going to have the right to vote. Okay? So, do your vote count? That's a good point. That's a good question. Because when we went to school, I always try to mention it. When we went to school, we voted on the class president, the queen of the school. Whoever got the majority votes won. And that's been a whole concept of elections. That the majority win. That's been engraved into our heads.
Yeah.
Engraved into our heads. The majority win. Yet and still, we just seen Trump win an election where he got less votes than Hillary. Confusion. Confusion.
Hey, Bobby, Brother Bobby.
Yeah.
Well, I think what we got to look at is the confusion comes because down in the black community, there's no true education on why you vote, how you vote, how the electoral vote works against the popular vote. So if we don't understand those things, then those things become foreign to us. They seem like cheats. They seem like a lot of different things. It's like I can take you to the Breonna Taylor killing, and I can show you why they never could get a conviction on that. But to us, intellectually, to us morally, to us spiritually, we say she wasn't given justice, that they didn't do that right. But actually, it's only because we don't understand how law works and how it operates. So we go on feelings instead of intellect. And so if we're looking at the fact that the college vote has been there since the inception, but we always look at whoever had the most votes win, and we don't take into consideration how those votes stack up for each state, and how when you win that state, how many votes go there. And when you win the bigger states, it's more votes. When you do the littler states, there's less votes. And if we don't get the understanding of that, when somebody gets the popular vote, but doesn't win as many states or the states with the most votes, we think it's a cheat. But it's the same system that has always been there. And so as far as, let me give you an idea. The Citizens Commission on Human Rights, in which I work, we have put out a lot of legislation and made changes, changed laws did a lot of stuff. But every step of the way, there was a vote. We had to get the vote from Congress. We had to get the vote from the Senate. We had to get all of that to get certain rights and laws passed. When we do it on a bigger stage, when we have a presidential election, or when we have a judge election or a measurement decided by the vote, those things, in my opinion, count. OG said something that was really good. If the vote didn't count, why are they suppressing it? If the vote didn't count, why did they hang and lynch and kill Black people who was fighting for the right to vote? If the vote didn't count, why did they take all of this great measure? Well, the vote does count. But Black people don't seem to understand because we put all our eggs in one basket. And if that loses, then we don't win on the other fronts because of the fact, like you take Donald Trump. Donald Trump gave $500 billion to the Black community recently. He had given $100 billion to the SB historical Black colleges. He did all that, but because we don't understand how the vote works, we still stuck on this thing with Hillary, and the blessings that we might have coming, we can't even accept them because we just didn't understand how the vote works. And so I say to us all, as Black people, just on the strength of the people who died for you to have the right to vote, it's an important thing because if they took it from you tomorrow, you'd be back out fighting for it again. So it has to mean something. It has to be important. And I mentioned on the earlier cast, they check the level of the voting to know the state of apathy that the people are in so they know what laws they can pass and you won't fight back. They can pass a vaccine that all children must get the shot in California and we don't fight back. That's because of vote. But let me tell you something. If 80% of the Black vote could go either way, they would never pass those laws on us like that. They would never raise your gas tax 12 cents. They would never do that because they know you would come and vote them out of office. The only place we got power right now with our vote is truly in our own community. But most of us don't even come to decide that. So people can sit in office for years and never make change because we know their name and we like them, and then we don't vote according to what we need. We friends with this politician. We like that politician. This politician over here called my name. And that's the way we're operating. And that's why it doesn't make sense to us.
All right. And I know I gonna say, like, I've been around like a few politicians when they get going. Like I had one that came down to Skid Row before he was getting ready to run. And he did mention, he's saying y'all have to make noise. Y'all have to make enough noise. Then, like I say, I tell people I'm always 50-50 with all information until it comes back valid. So, like say, if somebody is good or bad, some people say he's good, some people say he's bad, but I sit back and weigh it out until it comes back valid to me. So I take everything with a grain of salt. But it's like, but I have seen other groups who do get loud, and then it does reach them, and then they do seem like they make a change. Because I just seen something with Van Jones, Jay-Z, and Meek Mill just passed something here in California. It's supposed to be they're working with reform and stuff like that. So I think, like I said, we do have to make a lot of noise. So I see OG is ready.
No, I just wanted to go back to the video.
Okay.
I agree with everything Reverend Shaw said, without a doubt. But how do you keep our community involved? It doesn't, for us to wake up at 50 years or 40 years, that's a long sleep. And the kids are always in the midst of that. Okay, you sleeping for 20 or 30 years. Because I was fortunate, you know what I mean? I started voting probably at 26, you know what I mean? But I was working in politics at a young age. That's how I ended up, really, because I did voter registration and all that, worked with the PAC committee. I worked with the Democratic Party. I worked in a lot of campaigns, you know what I mean? And like I said, I'm coming out of the Black Panther Party. So that was a whole foreign field to get inside mainstream politics. But and I've been involved in politics ever since. But kids, how do we get if we don't get our kids involved now? This is why there's no continuity. I'm real proud of the young, group of Congress girls that got in and all this kind of stuff. You got to get in them young. And one thing I did see in politics, and I observed this in the church too, the leadership, like the young girl said, it's up to the leadership. So if there's no voter education in our community every night, and we go to church every night, we go to choir rehearsal every night, if we don't have no voter education in our community every day, that's not, you can't say the system did that to us. And it goes back to the reason why a lot of politicians stay in office, because they help keep us ignorant. They don't come to get us until it's time to vote. Other than that, they know we ignorant. Okay, so they give us the charm, they give us the good speech and all the good fancy words, just like when we go to church. We get all the words, okay, on that day, but all during the year. They'll come to the meeting at a community meeting about, I was working on this legislation, been working. But when you started that legislation, where was the people at then? This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we definitely need education. But we can't keep getting it. We can't keep letting generation after generation go into a hole and have to learn by experience. That's crazy right there. When you have to go ask a young person, he don't know nothing about the legislation that's going on in Sacramento. Whose fault is that?
Well, let me say this, and I'm gonna have to unfortunately leave. Bobby know that I'm supposed to left town at 12, and I extended it 30 minutes just to be able to come on the show. But this is the reason, what you just mentioned, that Jesus called them sheep. See, because what we keep doing and we can't get out of it, and that is, even as a Christian minister, one of the things that hurt us the most is that they created a Messiah conscience in us, to where the only way we think we can get delivered, if a Martin Luther King or some great leader who has oratorial skills come to us and tell us which way to go. Damn it, it is time for each household to make sure that their children are educated. Quit looking for anybody to do for you what you can do for yourself. In the Bible, they talked about the pool of Bethesda. And there was a man that was there 38 years. And when Jesus came, Jesus healed the man. But the man had told Jesus that when the angel came down into the water, the first person that touched the water got healed. But he had no man to take him to the water. But in 38 years, if he would have just crawled 1 foot a day on his own, in 38 years, he would have been able to fall in the water. But we don't look at it like that. We keep waiting for the Christ-like figure or the Martin Luther King figure or the next figure to come and save us when we have the ability to save ourselves. And the one thing, and this is no criticism, the one thing that we got to stop saying is they and say I. What can I do? The hell with what they do, because they are your oppressor. They are the people who suppress you. So they ain't gonna do a damn thing for you. It is us that gotta do for ourselves. And we gotta start planning and being strategic within our community, because ain't nobody outside of our community gonna save us. It ain't Biden, it ain't Trump, it ain't no. It is us thinking about business. It is us educating ourselves. It is us leaving the drugs alone. It is us putting the guns down. We don't have to have nobody take our gun. We just put our gun up in our closet and don't use it unnecessarily. But we keep waiting for others to lead us to the promise when all we got to do is walk down the street.
I want to piggyback on what you said about the pool of Bethesda. And I want to get it to my pastor, Jeff. He taught us. He said, you're right. But think about this, because if you read that book, every time that angel came to rubber the waters, everybody started making a dash for it. Suppose they would have all grabbed hands and stepped into the pool together. That's what I'm talking about. Suppose they would have all grabbed hands and stepped into the pool together. Okay, and you're right about that. You know what I mean? We have the solution to our problems, but again, it goes back to ignorance and it goes back to leadership. It doesn't have to be the pastor. It don't have to be some political science. It can begin in home. If the parent knows something about the election, about all that, they can educate their kids. You know what I'm saying? But again, it goes back to ignorance. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I mean? Because to answer Bobby's question, what you already did, it depends on what level you are voting on. If it's on a local level, city councilmen, legislators, governors, your one vote counts, everybody. When it goes to the electoral college on a national level, when you in that booth pulling down something, that lever thinking that you pulling it down for Joe Biden, it goes to the electoral college. Your vote might be the popular vote. And the law says the electoral college do not have to vote the way the popular vote goes. The worst part about it, we don't even know what none of them look like. Nobody has ever seen the face of electoral.
Well, you know, the electoral is to guarantee who they want in office.
The electoral votes, every state has so many electoral votes, and that determines how many senators or people that you send to Washington. Okay,
and that's where
okay, hold up. That whole electoral vote comes back to the 3/5 human. When they were setting this government up, and you see the founding fathers signing all those papers, the southern states didn't have a lot of people. They had slaves. And they could not be counted as part of the vote. This was the argument. You got people in the north, they got all these free people, and you got all these people in the south who can't, they ain't got enough people, but they got slaves. So the compromise, they call it the 3/5 compromise. It allowed every slave, 3 slaves, become a 3/5 human. It takes 5 slaves to make that vote up. They didn't count them as electors, they just count them as votes.
But I ain't think
the slaves didn't go there. That's where the whole electoral college comes from.
Well, when can slaves vote, OG? I didn't know slaves.
They didn't vote. They didn't vote. What I'm saying is the white man or the government would count the slaves
as a vote.
That's no 3/5. They try to get them as a vote. This is how the southern plantation owners try to do. They try to get the slaves to be counted as a vote, but no, it was too many slaves. The slaves outnumbered the people in the north. So what they did is they get a 3/5 compromise. They said we will count them as not as humans, 3/5 human, which means you need like 5 slaves to make up 3 votes.
But now you got it. Now the electoral college is not in every state though.
It is in every state. When you look up there, it's in every state.
Certain states have more electorals than others.
Some have more, some have less. That's the problem. This is why you call swing states. Because let's say you got 50 states over here, 50 votes over here, 50 votes over here. And then you got one state that ain't got but 5 votes. That little 5 votes can swing the whole election.
Yeah, now let's talk.
Those ones with the little states, that's why they call them swing states.
Now equate that into racism and white supremacy.
It was already racist. The whole electoral process is based on racism.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's always guaranteed to get who they want in office. Like they wanted Obama. It ain't just because black folk voted and now Obama. Well, a lot of white people voted for Obama. Like a lot of them. So
there's only 535 electoral votes. There's only 535 of them.
The electoral votes what got Trump elected. Hillary had more popular. The electoral votes what got Bush elected when he won, and they thought he stole.
There's a lot of times the electoral college wins. A lot of times the electoral votes don't go that way.
Show me a time.
You don't know who they look like. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't even know who they look like.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hold it for a second.
You don't even know what they look like.
Okay, I want the ladies to step in for a minute.
I see her nod, but go ahead. That's the key thing. People keep taking the popular vote. Check out the electoral college, then you'll try to understand the system a little better.
Look, there's a lot there that I'm not going to jump over at all, because I think the thing I see the most is like, I'm Australian, but I became a citizen in 2017. And the thing is, in Australia, obviously, everyone has to vote, right? It's part of the process. Everyone votes. I can tell you, coming over into this system, it is confusing. And I think the biggest thing, and what I kind of get from hearing everything that you're saying, is it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because there's so many rules and things that are kind of interwoven where it's like you feel like your vote doesn't matter, because even if like the popular vote wins, it doesn't, necessarily put the person in office. Also, there's so many games at play, there's strategies and things going on where everything's being played upon played upon played. But the thing is, like, and I guess what the Reverend was saying earlier, it's like no one's ever seen the power in everyone voting, or everyone that can possibly vote in the US voting. No one's seen that power yet. Like, if that happens, that will be where you do see change happen because everybody voted. Now, it's still a game, and there's still going to be people getting into the office that you don't want in office. But at the end of the day, someone's going to get the job. Like, someone is going to get that job as the president. It's a rigged system, but there is still a way to make some change. And I think if people get to see the power of almost every American voting, that will give people hope. That will give future generations hope, because that's never been seen before. I think, what is it, 70 or 90, how many million didn't vote in 2016? It's insane. I don't know the exact number, but it's like, I can't wrap my head around it because I come from a country where we have to vote. So I can understand why everyone is heartbroken and just put off by this stupid system, but it's like, that would be incredible.
Dale, is everyone in your country, is everyone in Australia happy with Australia, the government itself?
God knows.
But they still vote.
Yeah.
Is it because it's more simple?
See, Australia doesn't. Like I said, the electoral college was set up because they had the union could not come together. There was, you got to do with history in other countries. The government, after America, could not come together without solving this voting system. You know what I mean? And like I said, the only people that was voting was people with money. If you was poor in this country then, in 17, you didn't vote. Okay, you went and took your rifle like Daniel Boone and went on out and tried to find you some land. Only people that had land and power, take a good look at the founding fathers sitting around that table. All these people had money, power, okay? The common man was not mad. The common man, after the revolution, was able to go seek the American dream. That's where the American dream came from. From that point there, give me liberty or give me death. It had nothing to do with black slaves, okay? That was the picture of the American dream. Go conquer stuff. Coming from Europe, it didn't make no difference how poor you was. You was able to achieve things. But when it came down to voting, only people that had money could vote. And the only way this country was able to resolve the conflict, to bring the union together. This is what's going on today. A splitting up of the union. It had nothing to do with black people or poor people. America don't want this union to split up. Okay? They don't want that. See, you came to this country like a lot of people, and you can feel the American dream. You can go pursue the American dream. It's there for you. Because that American dream is part of white supremacy too. But we wouldn't have to be doing all this arguing about 2032. The Voting Act is over with. Me, black people can't vote in 2032. That's crazy. Why do you have to renew a voting act? So, well, I'm just saying, America and everybody watching your vote, if you go research, they'll tell you the presidential election is a two-step process. It's not hidden. All you got to do is study civics. They'll tell you it's a two-step process. Everybody votes, and then the electoral college votes. And now the people that sits on that thing are selected by the Republican Democratic Party. That's how you get a seat on the electoral college. I guess they don't want to tell you their faces.
Do electoral know their electoral?
Huh?
Do electoral know that they are?
They're appointed. They're appointed by the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. They're appointed. That's how you get a seat.
And this is it's just common citizens that could be electoral, right? Any old citizen.
Yeah, I guess if they appoint you, yeah, but I don't know. We don't know who they are. So, you know, whether they common people or, you know, I doubt any grassroots people on there. You know what I mean? They're political appointees.
So that's the whole thing of it. We don't know who they are. If 534 or something like that.
Yeah, it ain't gonna. I guess for obvious reason, you probably be picking in their door. You know what I mean? Shoot. So,
I think for a person who went to jail on a felony or went to prison and got out for a felony, they did their time. They served their time in prison. They paid their debt, right, to society. I feel like they should be able to vote. We had these laws where some states felons can't vote. I don't know about all states, but I know.
I don't even believe that.
They passed that in. Oh, sorry. Did pass that in? Was it Florida where they allowed it, but then they said, oh, if you've got outstanding fines, you can't.
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah,
but you can't.
but
But then people are paying off. There's organizations paying off the fines so that they can vote.
Yeah, that's crazy though, because
yeah,
I mean, you done paid your debt, man. So I'm still gonna pay debt the rest of my life. Not me personally, but I'm saying put myself in the felon shoes. I can never vote because of whatever that I did 30 years ago, and it's 30 years later, and I haven't committed a crime. I've been a model citizen, and I still can't vote. You know, that's not right.
I did voter registration. I did voter registration on the strip. I did voter registration in the bars. Ain't nobody got no voter registration form. You fill it out and it goes somewhere and somebody looking at it talking about, oh, he's a criminal. That ain't even happening. Those are excuses that people be using not to vote. Somebody told me, I tell you, I came out and
no, when you go vote, you can't. It's a vote. You give them in Georgia. This is how I go when I vote. I go in, I present my ID, I show them my driver's license, and they look my name up. When they find my name, they tell me go vote. Okay, you go over there and vote. Like they in a computer and they look me up.
Oh, okay.
So like in Georgia, felon ain't gonna vote because he going there with his car and they look him up. His name ain't on there. He can't go vote. They say no, you got to go over here. The computer system. That's how they got it. And that's part of voter. That's what you say, voter suppression. That's part of the suppression. Yeah. You know that we need.
All that. Yeah. Even when black people got the right to vote after the Civil War, for the little time doing Reconstruction, and even after that, because see the 14th and 15th Amendment guaranteed them. See, they'll give you a right and then take it right back, but they had to find a way to do it. So they did it out of terrorism, with the torches and all that kind of stuff. Run on. You still had the right to vote, but who's gonna go vote and your house burnt down when you get back? You know what I'm saying? So they do it through intimidation.
So you get home, get home.
That's how they do it. So what you're saying is, if all the people that were capable of voting in America would go vote, what you're saying is absolutely true. But the majority of people, even under good times, with a good turnout, the majority of people in America ain't never voted. Never, ever. Because they've been turned off from politics. You go back to Jesse James, Wide Earth days. You go back from the very beginning of politics in here. It's always been depressing. I think it's like in 1840 something when the white man got to vote. The average white man got to vote. That's 1840. Over 200 years. They were rolling around getting rich. And then women, how long it took for the women? And like my brothers always say, if they wouldn't even get their own mama and sister the right to vote, think about that. Come on. Trump is American made. That you won't even give your own mama the right to vote? Your own sister? Think about who had to persuade you to do that? So,
it probably was a reason why. It's always a reason why.
Well, that's voter suppression.
They probably saw that they needed to, in order to control power, they needed to give their women the right to keep the power.
There's more women than men, so women get run the country if they want to. Look how they got the women divided.
that misogynist attitude played a lot in that, especially in the old times. You know, like women, the misogynist attitude that women are second rate or whatever. That bull that they was on played a whole lot into that role.
Oh, stay in your place, stay in the kitchen.
All that.
Okay. So that's all been formed of vote. That's what I'm trying to say. The majority of people ain't never voted in this country because of the way politics has always been ran.
Right.
Always been crooked.
Yeah.
I mean, if you tell somebody, man, politics is crooked, that's like common sense. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't even shocking nobody. Oh, they corrupt over there in the office. Like you ain't shocked nobody.
That's why them politicians not as transparent as you would like them to be.
Well,
now you might be voting for somebody because everybody else vote for them, but you don't have no idea about their policies on anything. And then you done voted for the person that's really against you.
Well, that's what I want to say about what the girl was saying, the young girl said. Because she's saying, like, educators, so they can get excited.
Yeah.
But that's why people vote. They only vote because they're excited. They ain't usually voting with no wisdom. No, they're gonna vote on Obama, and then for the next 4 years they ain't gonna do nothing. Or if Obama lose, I ain't doing nothing. I ain't voting on nobody else. I ain't voting on the legislator. I ain't voting on no propositions. I don't even want to hear politics. I want to go look at the football game. That's another reason voter suppression. Football, basketball, you know what I mean? A good movie, you know what I mean? They got your mind everywhere, but on an election, that's voter suppression. Why you can't do both? Something wrong when you can't do both? How you gonna watch football all day long? The polls been open since 10. They closed at 12. You've been watching the football game. That voter suppression. Yeah. Oh, let's put a good boxing match on the day of election. Let's hold a Super Bowl on the day of election.
You know, election day should be holidays.
Yeah.
Everybody should be out work.
Yep.
Election day.
That's common sense. That's like the lady said, if you want to maximize or mail-in voting, you want to maximize all this stuff and get the majority of people participating, that's how you do it. But if I'm a little politician and I want to hold on to my job and it ain't but 30 or 100 people in my community, if I can keep 80 of them dumb, I'll win every time. I don't need but 20 of y'all, keep the other 80 dumb. It work every time. Because first of all, we got to split this money up in here. We can't split it up with 100 of them, so we got to keep the other ones dumb. Now, them 20 gonna go for that. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea right there. Keep the budget small.
Yeah.
Thank God there's each and every one of you guys like talking though, because for every person on here talking, I'm sure you're talking with other friends and family and other people and other people and other people, and it's like it's a shit system, but like there is a way. Like I just honestly I can't not be any more blown away by the amount of people that don't vote, and that's not judging that at all because I can see why, but just to know that
you ask them, all you gotta do is just ask them why, and they're gonna show you their apathy.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, man, and they've been doing this stuff. Just like I say, if they get excited, let's say you their good friend decide to run. Oh, they all excited. I'm going back. I'm a bagger. Everybody's excited. You know what I mean? We only vote out of excitement. When really, I keep trying to explain to people, even when they came over from Europe way in the back days, they wanted their freedom. Wasn't nobody coming from Europe to talk about I want to join the Constitution, I want to be a senator. They was coming over here for the American dream. All this new stuff I can go. I can wander around. You know what I mean? I can get some land. I can become rich in America. They wasn't worried about no voting. Matter of fact, it was only 13 colonies in. Look at all the land they had since then. That's the American dream. You know, all the land, when you riding up and down the freeway, look at all the land in America.
The government became big, you know, big government. Now politics rule everything. Basically, the rule of politics, law and politics. Politicians approve and disapprove laws. You know, it's all really ran through the judicial system, and then politics is all into the judicial legislative system. It's big government now. It's real big government, and we let the government do a whole lot. We shouldn't. You know, it's a lot we could talk about besides voting, even on the stuff that the system is doing to us. Like, we could talk about how unfair taxes are. Like, real in reality.
Look, Trump only pays $750 in taxes. Yeah, we talking about real time. We ain't talking about no make-believe. We talking about here's a man that only pays $750 in taxes. This is real.
Yeah, and never went to jail.
Ain't going to jail. You know, all that kind of
stuff.
stuff.
About white supremacy on that, but I don't want to. Because I want to talk about the unfairness of taxes, period. Like, across the board. You know, like, say, OG, like, you buy your house flat out. You work hard, you buy your house. Boom. It's paid for. But if you don't pay your taxes on that house, they will take your house.
Yep.
Then
your land too. So think about it. Think about it as a rich man. You're a rich man. You're a plantation owner. You're a farmer. You're a shipbuilder. You got all this land, and now we done set up a government. All these people in the government want some money. Well, I'm a man. I put you in the government. I know you don't need no money, so I'm gonna do everything I can to write tax law. I'm gonna write tax laws that's gonna benefit me. Poor people don't write no tax laws.
I just was interested in that. I looked up a $2.5 million house, like straight out paid for. How much taxes would be on it a year? $26,000 a year.
So do you want to pay it? Or you gonna get you a slick accountant gonna figure a way out not to pay it?
How you gonna win?
Well, Trump already paid $750. He winning.
No, he ain't. Because if he don't get elected, then he going to jail.
Yeah.
You know.
Y'all hoping Trump go to jail. Trump didn't lose y'all.
I'm just saying, everybody else don't went to jail for not paying.
Trump been the system for 40 years. Y'all crazy. Trump gonna be living in Russia.
Went to jail.
Trump is gonna be living in Russia. He gonna be over there building him another hotel. Y'all gonna wake up. He gonna be out here on one of them military trains.
I'm glad
he left.
But Trump is Russian. Every wife he don't have is Russian. He got all them Russian businesses. And just like Biden said, he Putin's puppy. Russia running America, y'all. And that's what's going on.
Right.
Hey,
the president.
Trump told you when he got it, I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
He ain't no politician. I'm a businessman. Now you want to put me in here to be a politician? Y'all crazy? I'm a businessman.
He gonna do it his way.
Crazy.
And he been doing it his way, and ain't been can, and he bullied, and he talked wrong, and everything that's true is fake news.
We got a government. We got a government. We got 3 branches of office. Oh, y'all impeached him. Oh yeah, I ain't going nowhere. He don't care about no impeachment. What that mean to him? Trump don't care about. Oh, y'all impeached me.
Trump said it might not be no peaceful transition if he don't beat me by a landslide. I ain't giving up nothing.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay in the hospital till y'all get.
Okay. All right.
I have a question. I think you had someone join too, but my question just quickly is because you were talking about everyone's so been put off by the system because it's just crazy. But why, like, for everyone on here, like, why are people, if they are voting, why are they voting? What's the one thing that's actually making you vote? Like, because
fear,
talking about passion or like just trying to find something to either get excited or motivated about, maybe that helps other people.
I think a lot of people voting this year out of fear.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fear mongering going on.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people voting this year for that. They scared. They whoever they scared of the most. If they scared of what Biden and the Democrats gonna do, they going with Trump. They're scared of what Trump and the Republicans gonna do, they going with Biden. It's out of fear. They ain't really looking at policies. They looking at what the TV, media, and all that's been.
For you, like I guess what you guys like personally, if you're happy to share it, like I'm just interested to know, is it out of fear for you or is it out of something else? Like,
well, I told people, you know, like I said, I've been voting since I've been 26, okay, because I went into politics. And then I was a history major. So I know what my people have gone through just for the right to vote and all of that. I don't really believe in the voting system. You understand what I'm saying? I really don't. You know, because I know there's too many white people. If they voted back into slavery tomorrow, you think I'm going? You think I'm gonna go? So I don't really believe it. I already know. If the majority of white folks go to the polls, say we voting them back into slavery, and the majority is supposed to win, I'm not going. Okay? But I vote also to prove it don't work. Because I don't believe I have the right to say nothing about something I didn't participate in.
Okay.
So I participated in it. So when it don't go down right, I got all the right in the world to say it didn't work. Okay? And that, you know, and I've been doing it for all these 40 years and it ain't been working. You know what I mean? It ain't been working. So that's why I'm grassroots. I do independent stuff. You know, we do our own organizing. Wherever we go, we try to create liberated territory. You know what I'm saying? Safe havens ourselves. We don't wait on the police to do it. We don't wait on the politician to do it. We make sure that the park is safe for our kids. You know what I'm saying? And we interact with the drug dealers and we talk to them and let them know you got kids too. Don't you want the area safe? Okay? And deal on that kind of level and solve our own problems. But people got to see, especially us see it don't work. So it inspires us to do stuff for ourselves.
Yeah. And like
so
I
that's
said,
all I do. I do it to prove it don't work.
That's it. I think everything is psychological.
Trump did send me a check, no. Thank you.
We're waiting on the second one. Okay, I had somebody, the one that did chime in, they sent something in the chat box. Sorry for being late. She said, one thing that gets me voting is I don't want to not vote and hope for change. And I want to take charge of change that will affect me. Yeah,
I think on that note too, because of young people.
Yeah.
And on voting, you can win local elections. So I think more young black people need to be encouraged to pursue those positions because they can be won. You know what I mean? They can be won by them, those local elections, because you can get a majority vote. Okay?
That's 100% why I vote. Like that is 100% the reason why I vote, why I want to vote. Sorry for my first time voting because I wasn't yeah, is because of those small like states and cities and council and people, progressives and people running in these areas, and like what they want for their community is just amazing. And I want it to be easier for them to do their job. So I'll vote for an election, for a presidential election that I don't really particularly agree in, for two people at the top, but I'll vote for Biden because I want it to be easier for those guys to do their job. For the woman here in LA, I've forgotten her name, but she's wanting to do a lot for the homeless community here. And it's like, I want her to be able to do her job easier. I don't want her to have to battle all the other BS on top of everything. There's enough of that already. So that's why I vote. Sorry, continue.
I would agree with that.
Go ahead.
Right.
Okay.
Get on in there.
Come on. I think we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just saying I definitely agree with that. That's one thing that that's the reason why I voted around the time that I think Obama was running. That was my first time ever voting, was because of the fact that I was really connected into the community that I was in back when I was living homeless in Skid Row. And one of the passions that I noticed was from Marquise Dawson, who is in charge of Council District 8, I believe. A lot of his work connected to the stuff that Obama was doing. And now I'm looking at a lot of the work that I'm hoping, positive work that I'm hoping will be impacted by the local representatives. So that's the one reason why I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to vote for Biden because I want to make it easier for the local electives that I believe in or that I know that their goals coincide with positive effects in the community. That's why I was like, I'm gonna vote for Biden because it would be easier for them to do their job, for them to reach those goals, and for them to connect with the community in a better way instead of having to deal with like, for example, our mayor arguing with the president that back I think it was last year, arguing with the president over what he's doing as a mayor. I was like, that's crazy. This could have been, you guys wasted half of your conversation on arguing than actually getting anything politically done that can affect our community and our state. And our, LA County. And it bothered me so much because I'm like, these are the same people that have to go to Sacramento and fight for the things in our community and stuff. So why do we have to, why would I want to sit back and, not assist in getting them to where they could be to benefit the community? But it also empowers me because I like to, when I advocate and do a lot of, I guess, lobbying as an individual, I like to be able to go up there to those council meetings and be like, I voted for you, and I voted for, I voted on the local level and, the state level and all that, and all the levels in between to, assist you in addressing these concerns in the community. And if you're not addressing these concerns in the community, it tells me that I wasted my vote. And I want them to, because a lot of times I'm always at City Hall or calling in on City Hall and just, making sure that the same people that we're voting for are doing the things that they said they were going to do for the community, and not wasting our time and not wasting our resources.
Yeah, you have a right to say that you owe me. Like, I voted for you, and I you owe me.
Exactly, yeah.
But I think too, was important what she said, how she connected the dots. This is why I'm saying that the youth, I think we've done a poor job in really keeping the youth involved. Because as she said, she just went from being a private person to being an advocate and a lobbyist. So we got to take it to another level. You know what I mean? We want to just be a voter. We don't want to be a lobbyist. We don't want to get out of our house or be the type of person to write those letters and make those phone calls. And so a lot of people that are turned off from the system haven't been given other avenues to stay active. You know what I mean? During the year. You know what I mean? If you can keep a person depressed about politics and not enthusiastic, come on, you got voter suppression going on in all kinds of forms. You know what I
mean? Yeah. And I think I'm going to have to get with Ms. Adeline, so we might need to work with her with the other two young ladies, and maybe we can really work with working with the educational part for the youth. And for the adults, like I say, been 20, 30 years for somebody to even vote. So I think that might need to be the main thing, working with some type of education and get people inspired to want to vote.
This way when you look at the election, they start doing the statistics. They're gonna be talking about the college graduates. How many of them vote? A lot of cities and cities and towns got college populations. And then when they went to talk about Trump voters, most of them were uneducated. Almost like I always try to compare to that Jim Jones situation, that cult situation that Trump got going on now. Because the majority of them people are uneducated.
Where I'm at, we have a city council, and the city council represents every section of the city. So you have a few seats it's city about 8 members, and it's not like 9 or 7. It's like dead even. I don't know why, but anyway, so you have like 4 Republicans and 4 Democrats. They sit in there and they argue and don't ever get nothing done. And man, they represent, if one in there representing me in my area, and the things they argue with, They just clash. Don't never get anything done. The only thing they get done is road work, like paving roads. And so like a lot of stuff need to be addressed in this whole it's a lot of work.
Right.
Yeah, but you know, again, I say continuity. I just say it from my part because I always work with youth, you know, and I'm involved in politics, man, you know, involved with the turnout to vote and all that kind of stuff. You mean, and I know the hard work it really goes into getting voters to the polls. You know what I mean? I work with PAC committee. The Democratic Party in a lot of areas and the Republic are well organized because they got a PAC committee. These are political action committees. They put money. These are people that go door to door, pass out the canvas, all that kind of stuff. They get paid to do this. They got a political machine. Okay? When you have an active PAC committee. If you live on your street right now and you can't name your PAC committee, they ain't active. They're not active. And if you organize a block club or anything on your in that neighborhood, you can beat them at the polls. Because a PAC man, he might only have 4 or 5 blocks. That might be his whole area. His area is to know everything that goes on in them 4 or 5 blocks. He's supposed to know every person, every church, every businessman. That's what he gets paid to do. So that when an election comes around every year, Miss So-and-so, Miss Clipper, get to the polls. He knows everybody. And I know because we have beat the Democratic Party and we have beat the Republican in grassroots campaigns because they were not active in the community. And if you active in your community and you organize your community, you have political strength when it comes down on local levels. Now, when you get to the national stuff, you still got some power, and hopefully, in this election, it'll sway these. When I'm looking at the 538 presidential electors, that's what's known as electoral college. They are the electoral college. And all you got to do is go through all the states and start adding them up. 50 here, 33 here, 10 over here, 12 over there. Start adding them all up. So when the president get up a big chunk, and he got 50 over here, 50 over there, them 3 or 4 little votes down in them little states, they're important. They become the big dog now. They can bring home the bacon. Even though they're a little bitty state, they got the 3 votes that can put you in office or put you out of office. And that's how it's set up. And if you go through all the civics, they're going to try to say, they've been trying to get rid of this electoral college because it's rooted in the 3/5, compromise. They just ain't been able to get rid of it. So
okay,
that's it.
Okay, all right. Well, I think this was a nice one for the first one, and I'm glad we had the 2 ladies show up to help us out and everything, and OG doing his thing, doing the fact checking and all that, and got Mr. Clifford Smith coming from all the way from the ATL, putting it down, let us know what's happening and all this stuff. And like I said, I used to live in Riverdale, so I've been down through that way. I stayed there for a year before I came to LA.
Clifford, you out to run for office.
Yeah, man.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing to lose. Yeah. Get them that PAC money, man.
Yeah.
Why not? People be running, know they're going to lose. Trump didn't want to win. Trump swear he was going to lose. He knew he was going to go through all of this right here. He would have been through the towel here. He done everything he could do to get out of office.
Yeah.
He can't get out.
He was trying to promote his businesses. He ain't
think all he trying to do get some name recognition. Beat your name up a little bit. And whoever them fools was on the electoral college mess around. See, what a lot of people don't understand, I mean, there's a reason why we don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Because it's more easier to buy them off. And Trump always doing some research. Hey, he trying to find out Obama wasn't born in the country. He always investigating somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think he figured out? Man.
They say Trump is conspiracy theorist.
just okay. We got off this subject again now.
Okay.
I just want to talk. We're on a private conversation now about it. Okay,
okay, no, it's all good. But no, I appreciate everybody coming through for this one though. But we're gonna get ready for another one.
Biden announced he was gonna pull his negative advertisement. Duh. Was it a lie or was it good? If you got some stuff, you know, I'm like this here. If you got a man down, you're supposed to keep him down. This is politics. This is why Biden might not win.
I don't think
you got a man down.
I don't know. I think that's a good play actually, because I don't know. I think
okay. You think Trump's gonna be happy when he come back? Oh, yeah, Biden was real nice to me. I'm gonna be nice to Biden.
I don't think that's gonna happen. Nice. I think they're playing. Like, I don't think they're being nice. I think they're just playing like we're of all people. Like, we're the leaders of everyone. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Just have some faith that it's a game.
Have some faith. Huh?
He did so poorly on that the last one. He did so poorly, and then his wife come out talking about the heck with the immigrants locked up. They went into hiding. You know he's a showman. Tell him I got a cold. I told I do that a lot of times with my wife. Tell him I'm sick. Okay, I don't want to talk to nobody. Tell him I'm sick.
Sorry? He pulled a Kim Jong-un out of North Korea. He disappeared for a while. He was sick.
Yeah.
Didn't know nothing.
Yeah. This is like a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, what is it?
I actually have to go, but
okay.
You know, if you do this one, like, I'll definitely listen in because it will be entertaining.
I thought he was a bionic man. He was drinking all kind of stuff. He had all kind of stuff, tubes in him.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on and everything. You know, I guess before we leave, I don't know who's good at doing the prayer out.
Go ahead, prayers out, Clifford. And thank you, ladies, for showing up.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. Let's bow our heads. Thank God for everything. Dear God, we thank you for all that is. And we ask that you continue to keep and bless us in our day-to-day. And until we see each other again, we give praise to you. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank y'all. Thank you, Bobby.
So nice to meet you guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you got to see the man on the picture.
All right, Clifford.
Oh, yeah. Okay, y'all.
Have a unity. I look in your eyes every day. You're tired of this mess anyway. Children are dying. Mothers are crying while the politicians look the other way. We need another day to see the light. A new way. Stop the fight. Peace in the hood is on its way. Peace in the hood is here to stay. Cause it's a new day. It's a new day. Peace in the hood is on its way. It's a new day. It's a new day. Peace in the hood is here to stay. Cause it's a new day. It's a new day. Peace in the hood is on its way. It's a new day. It's a new day. Peace in the hood here to stay. People are dying every day, shedding tears in every way. Oh my God, I feel their pain. Oh my God, who's to blame? We need another